Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another segment of Asaph Cafe. I am your host, Asaph Adonai, and our special guest one-on-one, Mr. Frank Van Dyken. And this time we're on the set of an old television show from the past called Married with Children.
Yeah.
and in all the years I've been doing this show, this is the first time we're on Married with Children. And I think if I remember, the theme song went something like this.
Singers used to sing this song in Vegas a lot, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Blue Eyes. Didn't he sing that? I don't remember his name right off the bat, but Blue Eyes, that's what they called him, one of the Rat Pack guys.
It was something like this.
Boom. That's how they ended it. It's real like just a cliff. Is it brick wall or whatever?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Married with Children. Isn't that cool?
Oh, yeah.
I just said I'm Married with Children.
They had so many great characters.
Yeah.
Oh,
the show was a little raunchy in its time, I admit. They had some raunchy episodes, but other than that, it's just it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's part of television history.
Yeah.
And since Asaph Cafe puts ourselves on the backdrop of shows, why not Married with Children, you know?
Sure. Yeah. That was a lot of cool pictures on the internet, you know, but
yeah,
it's nice to try to get it so you can get the main characters.
Yeah, I know, and I like the fact that we got the whole family in their living room there and stuff. So
yeah.
Anyway, that's Peg Bundy, the character on the far left, and her husband, Al Bundy. And their two children, Kelly and
Kelly.
Bud.
And Bud.
Yeah.
You know what I thought was kind of funny, what they used to do? You know, they're really getting good at this movie stuff, you know, because they study human behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And they teach you to study it as you're just walking around in everyday life.
Yeah.
You know, and you go through it in your mind and everything. But the lady, Peggy Bundy, remember when she used to always cross her legs and she would go like this with her one leg. Well,
I remember that.
Then Kelly Bundy, she would do the same thing. They'd be sitting there, both their legs would be going.
Yeah.
It's so funny. The little things like that really help, you know. Little tiny things, extra stuff, more stuff.
I think I might do the music of Frank Sinatra because it was Sinatra who sang the theme song in this show.
Yeah.
But Sinatra had sang that song throughout his career when he was younger.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I had some early recordings of him doing that, so.
Yeah, you can put that in your repertoire.
Yeah, we're on the set of Married with Children.
Yeah.
Just put it again. Something like that.
And they had a club that he was in called No Ma'am.
Yeah.
They were like, man, you know, if it was a woman, they were like, no, ma'am. You know?
Well, this show for its time, it kind of crossed some lines, I would say.
Really?
Well, if you think about it, Al would take his son to the nudie bar.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? And Peg never did anything for her husband as far as housekeeping and cooking.
Yeah, but that house was pretty clean, though. I don't think Buck was cleaning it.
Yeah, and then that dog would talk, and of course not to the family, but the audience would hear what the dog was thinking.
Yeah, he used to sit right up there on the stairs.
Yeah.
They got some type of deal right there too now. I don't know what it is. Some type of a little cabinet, it looks like, up there. Right there.
Well, if I recall, I think this was the original set of the show. That show was on for a lot of years.
Yeah.
A lot of years. And it was popular in its time.
Yeah.
But like anything else, as the years and the generations go by, I think this show is pretty much forgotten by the younger generation.
Really?
I think so.
Oh.
And not only that, because these people like I think the actress that plays Kelly, I think she's well into her 40s, maybe 50s by now. So a lot of the younger generation won't remember this show in its time like this, if you think about it.
Oh yeah, she's been on.
She's been around. She's done
how
a lot
many
of
movies
television
she's
shows.
been
Gosh,
in
yeah.
now.
Movies.
Oh yeah, she can.
Television shows.
She didn't get stereotyped in this.
No. And the same with Katie Seagal was her name in real life.
Katie Seagal.
Yeah, she didn't get the lady that plays Peg. She didn't get stereotyped either. She did another comedy after this.
The guy that plays Bud Bundy, or not Bud Bundy, but the dad.
Yeah.
He used to play a detective.
Yeah. I saw him on an episode of The Streets of San Francisco when he was a young man.
Oh.
With Carl Malden, and he was quite good in that too. I mean, he'll probably be best remembered as this character, Al Bundy, but he was quite the actor as a young man. I'd seen him in a lot of movies and pictures. He was quite good.
Oh yeah, these actors and actresses are so good now, and the older they get, the better they get.
It's just the thing is that they play one character that everybody will remember, and then everything else is forgotten. Like Bob Denver, the actor that plays Gilligan on Gilligan's Island.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, he's done a lot of television shows.
Yes, but they remember the one when they're on an island.
One, yeah. And it's sometimes, and I can't say for these characters here, but some actors, they do so many things, and then they do one character, and everything else is forgotten.
Yeah.
Like Dr. McCoy, Star Trek.
Yes, sir.
What's his, DeForest Kelly was his name.
DeForest Kelly.
That's his
and
name.
He's done a lot of other things.
He was a Western cowboy star before he got into science fiction. Yeah. I did a story. Those stories? I did a story on DeForest.
Oh yeah, those are great. I love that's my favorite stuff.
I did a story on DeForest Kelly. He had been doing pictures, like he played Wyatt Earp in one cowboy picture, and he had been doing cowboy pictures for like 10 years or something like that, and then he got into the science fiction, and eventually became Dr. McCoy.
Dr. McCoy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, that's what everybody will remember him as, Dr. McCoy. But he did a lot of stuff. So where I'm going with this is the same with these characters here. Katie Seagal went on to do another comedy series.
Oh, so she does a voice. She does a voice for a cartoon.
Probably. So see, she didn't get stereotyped. I don't think any of these actors on this show got typecast or stereotyped.
No, none of them.
They all
they all seem to do really well after this show.
Yeah, Ed O'Neill is his name. He like I said, he was on a lot of television shows before Married with Children. And this actress that plays Kelly, Christina Applegate, she was on a lot of stuff when she was younger as a child.
Oh, she was.
Yeah, before she ever got into Married with Children.
Wow.
Stuff like that.
This is really nice, for us Americans that we have this evolution of these great performers and producers and directors and lighting and costume. And it's just an amazing phenomenon, the research that they do for, producing these shows and the amount of people that they have to put on these shows.
Oh, yeah.
And how good they've gotten, the teachers that teach acting. Those actors, they keep going through acting school, even though they're not they're not even young people anymore.
You got to keep it up,
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop right there on that note. I do the music of Sinatra since he used the theme song to this year.
Yeah.
Here's a Sinatra tune. Song?
No.
Don't know it, huh?
Not off the top of my head.
Saturday night is the loneliest night.
Oh, that's sad.
That's the name of the song.
Yeah. Yeah, that is called Saturday Night is the Loneliest Night. That was one of Sinatra's biggest hits too. I like Dean Martin. He was good. I like
Let's do some Dean Martin. Let's have fun with it.
You know, Dean Martin, though, he's the one that really did it his way. No matter what, you know, Blue Eye sings. Dean Martin, I think he was pretty much one of the original guys that ever did it his way. The guy was just, he was a natural phenomenon. Well, so was everyone else in their own right.
Oh yeah, I agree with you.
In that little group there that hung out with each other, you know, in Vegas. But yeah, Dean Martin, no, he did it his way, and you know, he got a lot of flack maybe for doing it his way, but you know, it worked for him. I don't know, he's not alive, I imagine.
I don't think so.
Probably died of like an ulcer or something, you know, because he drank so much.
I'm gonna stop right
He
here.
would
well,
drink
no, I don't
right
think
on the
I
show.
don't think Dean Martin drank for real. You know what I think it
You
was?
don't think so?
No, I think that was apple juice he was drinking. He was playing a character.
You think so?
Yeah, because if you drank that much in the morning, you'd be wired up by the evening. Because he did a lot of drinking in television, and I don't see how he could have been sober. I think he was playing a character.
Well,
I think he was drinking apple juice and just pretending it was alcohol, and I think it caught on. It caught on with Sinatra. It caught on with the comedians of the time period.
Ron
If
White.
you think about it, yeah.
He's on his stool. He's got a drink.
Well,
Ron
you
White,
remember,
the
you remember
comedian.
Don Ho, don't you?
I know
Don
the
Ho,
name.
the Hawaiian singer.
Hawaiian
Tiny
singer.
Girls.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when he would play the piano, he used to have this big cocktail.
Oh really? Big bowl like.
Yeah, it's like a big bowl, and it was supposed to represent alcohol, but I think it was just pineapple juice or something.
Dean Martin used to smoke right there.
Well, the smoking was real.
That cigarette.
Yeah, the
you
smoking
know?
was real, but I mean, I don't believe he was drinking alcohol on concerts, because you could, if you drink alcohol, you can only do it like 2 or 3 times before it starts affecting you. It would have affected his singing. It would have affected his dancing and his movement, which clearly didn't show when you saw him on stage, and he's up there for 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
So I don't know for sure, but that's just my opinion. I
Yeah.
think it was a staged act. I think he was just drinking pineapple juice or apple juice or something, and it just caught on. And so all the comedians at the time period just jumped on it.
Really?
And called him the alcoholic of television.
Really?
You know, for the comedy.
Yeah,
sake,
right.
You know, for comedy.
Right.
Because you know they're trying to get that comedy there. You know. So that's what I think. But anyway, getting back to Married with Children, none of these people got typecast on this show here.
No.
And
No,
it's funny, this show was on for a lot of years.
This guy that played Bud Bundy.
He didn't get typecast either.
I don't know exactly what his relationship is to this company, but there's this company that calls you on the telephone and sells you these deals where you can go to Vegas and stay in their apartment deals or whatever they are, and he's like their spokesman. And he comes to town every once in a while, and he'll go in the office. There's, you know, it's a catacomb of, you know, desks and chairs or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like the head guy, you know, that they're spokesman for that deal.
Uh-huh.
Right in Vegas, and he'll come in there. I've never met him, but and I've never worked there, but I know about it. I've been in their building, and yeah, that's Bud Bundy. The guy that plays Bud Bundy.
I think he's probably in his 40s, I would say, in real life now, today. He might even be older than that, because this show goes back. It goes back.
Yeah, I wonder what year this thing was on.
I'm guessing this show has to at least be about 20 years old, I would guess.
Yeah.
Maybe even more.
Yeah, and Bud was like a teenager there.
Now. Yeah, he was a teenager then. He's not a teenager now.
Looks like, no. So say he's
And
34.
I'm guessing Christina Applegate has to be like in her 40s at least. At least.
And she might be thanking you for saying that. For y'all, you know. I don't know.
No, I don't mean it critically. I mean, we all get older as time goes by. I mean, we see these people playing these characters and we think that they look like this forever, and they don't.
No.
They don't.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it had some moments. But I did chuckle at this show.
Yeah, this show was really good.
Because, like, it would show, you know, some scantily clad, dressed women on occasion, you know, things like that.
Well, the little stories that they had were just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Just a little.
It got criticized by some organizations when it first went on the air, but Katie Seagal said in an interview, if they don't like it, just don't watch this show.
Yeah, just don't watch it.
Change the channel.
That's like Howard Stern, you know, hey, you know, why are you,
don't like it, just change
don't listen,
the
but you're always
don't
listening, you
to
just
it,
can't
change
quit
the
listening,
channel.
and then you get all upset.
Yeah.
It's like the guys that go to the comedy shops, and then they're yelling, get off the stage, oh my God,
Yeah,
my
I
virgin
know.
ears, oh no.
Yeah, no kidding.
What are you doing at a comedy store or, you know, an open mic or whatever, you know, listening to comedy, and then you're an insane person that doesn't like the comedy.
Well, because I think
it's the same with Howard Stern too.
Well, they're thinking, people that go to these shows are probably thinking they're not going to hear this raunchy material.
Yeah.
Because
they think it's like church or Wednesday night.
Comedians are known for being raw these days. I don't think that's necessary. Oh man,
what some of those comedians do in these private clubs, I read, because when I was gonna,
I used to play in Vegas. I'm well aware of what they used to do, and I don't think that's necessary.
No, it's not necessary.
They got a guy named Darren Streblow.
It's
Have you ever
stupid
heard of him?
what they do. I mean, I've read it and it was dumb.
Have you ever heard of Darren?
You can't do that, not in public, but they do.
Have you ever heard of Darren Streblow?
I don't think so.
He is the host of a comedy show on the radio.
Is he?
And he features comedians, and they are all clean. Not one single dirty, off-color joke or word.
Yeah.
And it's funny. It's really funny. So my point is, I'm not a comedian, obviously, but I don't see why comedians have to get raw like that, because people are bringing their grandchildren in.
They're bringing their grandchildren in?
Well, some people, if you're watching an HBO special or something. Mm-hmm. So, I'm not here to judge anyone or tell anyone what to do.
You look at these clean comedians like Bill Cosby, and then look what Bill Cosby was doing behind the scenes, allegedly. I don't think he did any of that. I think that's a big lie.
But if you put that aside...
Just like Weinstein, I think that's a big lie, too.
If you put it aside, anything that Cosby did, regardless of whether it's true or not, it was good work. Like I Spy, his television show I Spy. You're going to tell me that's not a good show because of what he was doing?
What about his comedy? Look at the Fat Albert and all. He did those voices. Those were his voices.
I watched Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids when I was a kid.
It's like that monologue I did for you about the trees in Russia, talking about all these crazy humans, It's hard to do montages and memorize them and do all the different voices and keep it going and not look and sound like an idiot. Bill Cosby, that's what he did, was montages. He did those, and then they made a cartoon out of it. Yeah. And there'd be all those people, and it's him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and but to be able to do what he did on stage was remarkable.
Oh, yeah.
And for him to end his life like this, being locked up in a little room for the rest of his life.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's crazy. I think this so-called justice system where we have all this political correctness, where you gotta always believe the woman, and yet the women are up there lying and lying and lying, and it's like, if all this happened to you, then why weren't you at the police station? Why didn't you get your blood checked? Because, at least get a UA.
Yeah, see,
because the drugs would have been in their body.
I can't answer that, but
the drugs would have been in their body. Not one of them ever got pregnant.
What bothers me is, they, and I don't want to pick on ladies.
Have you ever met a guy that's been shooting blanks like that? But then when he goes to his wife, he gets his wife pregnant. But when it's all these other ladies, you just can't. It just doesn't work. No, there's something wrong with the picture.
What gets me is
and
why
these
they
lawyers
wait till
don't protect
30
these
years
guys.
later. Why do they wait like 30 years later before they tell the story?
I was talking about it with Scott, and Scott him and me are so diametrically opposed in our opinions.
Yeah, well, that's what makes the world different.
It's great. I like it. If it was on TV, it'd be wonderful. But they don't want that. But the thing is, he's like saying, well, that was back in the day when the girls couldn't go to the police and get justice. Same with supposedly with the guy O.J. Simpson. So now they can get justice. So they do, and then they make up a bunch of stuff. They steal blood from the evidence room. They drop it down in his car. I listened to that whole trial verbatim, except for jury selection. And it's amazing what those cops do to us Americans.
You know what bothered me about
It's just bizarre.
What bothered me about the O.J. Simpson trial was, when the defense rested, because I'm from California, and they had cameras strategically set throughout the entire state of California at that time.
Oh.
And it was such a division. They were showing white people and black people, and it was totally different reaction, and it just caused such a divide.
Well, it's really
sad,
because the black people, they listened to the trial verbatim practically.
Yeah.
Me, I listened to the trial on the radio verbatim in Vegas, The whole thing. I don't know that I missed a word.
I watched it on television all day long when I was there.
And the thing is, these white people that were going, oh, he's guilty, they never listened to the trial or watched it verbatim, like the black people did and I did. And they saw the lying news media.
Yeah.
And the lying news media is trying to spin this story saying he did it, and there's no proof whatsoever that he did it. In fact, there's all this proof that shows that the government planted all this evidence on him.
Well, you know,
you
that's
realize
just the
someone
world.
like me, I would be in prison still.
Oh, I'd be in prison too.
You can't get away with that. You know, you shouldn't be able to get away with that behavior in a free country, but you do. And I don't know why these police act that way. I have no idea why our government
it's
is
like
so out of control against us Americans.
I think it's what you were saying about the political correct. We live in such a political correct society these days, and it's almost like a cliquey club. It's like if the media likes you, you get good press, and if they don't like you, like your personality, for example, then they get biased towards an individual. And that's just the way I see it.
I think a lot of it is, you know, the newspapers and the TV stations and all, they're just the long arm of the police, and nobody else has a voice.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
But, you know, I look at it like this. Only O.J. Simpson knows. Just like all the other, you know, like Bill Cosby, only he knows for sure in his heart. You know, you can fool people, but you can't fool yourself.
No, you can't fool yourself, and you got to live with whatever you do in the world.
When Mr. Cosby goes to sleep at night, only he knows if he did what he did.
Oh, yeah.
Only Mr. Simpson knows if he did what he did, and so on, you know, and that's the way I look at it. Because we can sit here and debate that and argue that till doomsday, and you'll never really know.
Yeah.
You know,
but,
you will never really know.
No.
None of us were there.
But you know, there's one thing about trials. A lot of people, the government will try to misinterpret this. They go, well, you know, first of all, you got the hung jury. You're not guilty. If you have a hung jury, you are not guilty of every single charge, down to the charge that there's a unanimous decision.
Yeah.
So therefore, you should never be tried twice, because it's in the Constitution that you should not be tried for the same crime twice. And yet they do it over and over, and nobody says anything about it.
Yeah.
Everybody in this whole country that has been tried more than one time for the crime that they got found guilty of should be exonerated immediately by the Supreme Court of the United States of America, because it's totally against the Constitution. But our government is the ones that take the oath of office and say they're going to uphold the Constitution. And who attacks the Constitution and hates it more than our government? Now, why is that? If they ain't a bunch of imperialists trying to take over, you know, America, England, and well, they send the Irish, you know, to take over our lower, and then they take over the top, and they just keep, you know, filling all these. The gangsters are doing it now with their, you know, compromised people, but you know, the English have been doing this for a long time, and they don't look at this country as their country. It's a country they rule over, so therefore, and the Irish, they treat us like we are aliens, that they are dominating, they are taking over our country. It's like a war to them. It isn't, we live in this country, we want to keep our country peaceful, because that's what you want. You never want to divide a country. A country divided shall be laid waste. And that's what Russia does. Russia divides countries in order to make riots and things, to take away the peace. That's how they fight. They've been doing it for decades.
But you know, we're just told that. The truth is, you and I have never actually been to the Ukraine or Russia, so we don't really know. We're just going by what we're hearing on the media.
I've never heard that on the media. I'm going from what the Bible says. And the Bible says that there's a horse that's the red horse and the green horse and the, you know, black and white horse. And the red horse, representing the communists, they take peace from nations. That's their war tactic. And so therefore, I can see it, and so I think that that's what they do. There's weird stuff in the Bible that is now, you know, you can kind of see what's going on now. And Russia's one of them that likes to take, you know, over countries.
I don't know much about that, so I just have to let you share your thoughts.
By making them, you know, take away the peace from the country. Okay. It's just in the Bible, and I look at it and I go, yeah, you know, it sounds about right to me. You know? I mean, you know, they're shooting black people and then telling the black people to go riot. When the black people don't even know it's the damn Russian guy, the Russian agent, that's instigating all this.
Well, okay, you know, to sum this
Hey, I
part
may
of the
be wrong,
conversation, yeah, me too. I think to sum this part of the conversation up, if you take what the New Testament says, how can you say you love God who you've never seen and hate your brother who you have seen? Think about that.
Yeah,
if you going around here talking about you love God who you ain't even seen,
yeah,
and you hate your brother because he's a different nationality or something, something's wrong. That's what that's saying.
Well, you know what's interesting about God is love.
Yeah.
And love is a living spirit. And
you're not gonna hate someone if you claim you're.
See, people say they hate God, but they don't. If God was around them, they would love God because you could feel love. See?
Well, anyway, yeah. To sum that up, I just think to me it doesn't matter what person, what nationality a person is. I don't care if they're white, black, Asian. I don't care if they're from the Ukraine or China or the United States. People are people. That's the way I look at it. Well, and I think that if people had that attitude, I think there'd be less fighting in the world, less turmoil. Well, just love your brother, you know.
Yeah, but you're never gonna, you know, you have to wait for the governments to kill each other because the governments are never gonna quit trying to take over each other.
Yeah, that's what governments do. I don't know much about that, but boy, half hour's gone by already.
That's what governments do, and us peons like me, we can just sit back and watch and be entertained because there's nothing else we can do about it. We are helpless. We are defenseless.
Let's have some fun. Let's see if you know this song.
Okay. Yeah, I know it, but I don't know what it is. I probably don't know the words.
You don't know?
But I recognize the tune, melody, whatever.
It's called Mañana.
Oh, Mañana.
That's right. You want to take a guess who made that song famous?
No.
Peggy Lee. Do you remember?
Oh, Peggy Lee.
Yeah, the lady that sang the song Fever.
Yeah.
Peggy Lee made that song famous back in the 40s.
Yep.
It's called Mañana.
Yeah.
And that was one of her biggest hits.
Uh-huh.
I did a story on Peggy Lee too.
Yeah, I think I saw that one.
And I covered that. That was my sister's favorite song, Mañana, when we were kids growing up.
Yeah?
Yeah, I met Peggy Lee when I was in high school.
I don't know why this song keeps coming to mind, but I played this song at KGLT.
Okay.
When I was DJing there for my sound check.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Precious Bryant's song.
I don't know.
And it's If I Could Hear My Mother Pray. You never heard it? Oh, it's awesome. And it's so old. And it just reminds me that...
You're not talking about Precious Lord, are you?
Precious Bryant.
Okay, I don't know that one.
Well, she comes up here to Montana to a concert once in a while. But, and it just reminds me of how everybody seems to be in these niches.
Okay.
All these niches. They got these niches on TV. This is the comedy channel. This is the,
I see what you mean,
channel.
yeah.
This is the radio channel that does cowboy music. This is the radio channel that does...
Well, that's our time. Since the computer age came out, they just have more to choose from.
Well,
yeah. They have like 200 channels, I believe, now on
man.
Computer world. So you can listen to country music, the country channel. You can listen to classical music, classical channel.
Right.
And all the other channels like you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, it just seems that, and this is what I did. I just had, across the board, whatever I wanted to play. It didn't matter that, it was Led Zeppelin or Precious Bryant or, whoever the hell I played. It didn't matter what genre it was. It didn't matter what era it was. It just mattered that it was a good song.
Oh, yeah.
And if you find, you get these good songs, and in these radio stations, they have massive libraries. And of media, of songs, and you can just go through them like candy, like Joel does chocolate.
I remember when they only had 3 channels when I was in high school, junior high school actually. They had ABC, CBS, and NBC were the main channels at that time. Yeah. And then Fox came out, and that was a big deal. I remember when Fox first came out. And now then the computer age came, and now we got like so many channels.
Yeah.
200 channels, I think it is, we're up to now that you can choose from.
Yeah.
Cable networks, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Hallmark television, where you play all those movies
Hallmark.
like the Waltons, yeah. and
Oh, yeah, the
stuff.
Waltons. That was cool.
Yeah, let me see if I can play that, see if I can remember it. I'll play it. Something like remember it?
That was it. I remember the song, yeah. I remember that, but I don't know what it's from. I guess it's from the Waltons, you're saying?
Yeah, the Waltons.
Yeah. Now, have you ever had a set with the Waltons yet?
No?
That would be good. Grandpa Walton, remember him?
Oh yeah, I think it would.
And Grandma Walton, this is how great the actors and actresses are. As an actress, she had her stroke. The lady that
Yeah.
played Grandma Walton, she kept on acting.
I know it.
And she's acting, you know, not very well. Look at Gary Busey. He had a motorcycle accident. He got to go meet President Barack Obama. You know why?
Oh yeah.
Because after his motorcycle accident, he had to reprogram his mind to read, to talk, to do all this stuff. That's why he's so scary acting.
Yeah, I think that was pretty much the theme song there. I tried to pick that out. But yeah, getting back to Ellen Corby, she's the actress that played Grandma on
Ellen Corby?
The Waltons. Ellen
Yeah,
Corby
she was cool.
She was already an established actress way before she played Grandma. She was in that movie with Alan Ladd, Shane. You remember Shane?
I remember the name, I think.
Shane was this retired gunfighter that wanted to live a peaceful life, and he goes into the territory of this family that was just minding their business, running their own, taking care of their land. And there were some old homesteaders that didn't like change. They didn't want to see the change of society, so they were trying to keep the homesteader mentality, and they started attacking this family that was defenseless. So Shane was with this family, and he decides to defend this family. And since he was a gunfighter, he ends up wiping out the bad guy, who was Jack Palance.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
In the gunfight at the end of the thing.
Yeah.
He comes out of retirement to defend this family and defend those people that wanted to live a peaceful life from the ones that wanted the homesteading.
Yeah.
And he ends up taking on that lightning fast gunfighter, which was Jack Palance, and he kills Palance at the end of the show.
Really?
Yeah, Shane was like double fast. He wasn't just fast, he was double fast.
Yeah.
And so when they were squaring off, I heard about you. His name was Jack Wilson. He goes, Shane goes, I heard about you. And he goes, what have you heard, Shane? Shane goes, I heard you're a low-down Yankee liar. So the gunfighter says, prove it. And Shane takes his gun out and shoots him so fast, and he goes flying back.
Really?
Yeah, he goes flying back into the tables and everything. And then he takes out the other guys that set the gunfighter up. He not only takes on the gunfighter, he shoots the old man that was tormenting that family, and he takes out some of the
hired hand.
Henchmen, the hired hand. Yeah, he took them all out on that scene.
Yeah.
And then there was one lone guy that was hiding.
Yeah.
And right when Shane's gonna walk out, the little boy that was in the family, he happened to be watching. He goes, Shane, look out! So Shane turns around and takes him out too. He takes out the other guy that was hiding. Yeah, that was quite a movie. Yeah, Shane. And they had a great cast in that movie.
Have you ever done Men in Black?
Not yet. But
those are my
Ellen
favorite
Corby,
movies too.
Well, maybe we can do that sometime. But Ellen Corby was in that film.
Ellen Corby was in it.
She was a young woman, of course.
Yeah.
She was young, very young. She plays the widow that the gunfighter kills her husband just before Shane comes out of retirement.
Oh, right.
He just shoots him for no reason, just like that Johnny Cash song, just to watch a man die,
Yeah.
That's what he does. The gunfighter just comes, just decides, I'm gonna kill that guy, so he shoots him.
Who played the rifleman? Remember the rifleman?
Yeah, Chuck Connors.
He was a professional football player.
Yeah, that's right.
That's wild.
And he's lightning fast too. I don't really care for westerns, but I make an exception for the rifleman.
You do?
Yeah, and maybe the movie Shane. But the reason I'm not this is gonna sound, I don't want to sound like a killjoy. Two main reasons why I don't like westerns. One, because the way they treat people of color in these westerns. You really watch them?
No.
Like Wagon
like
Train and Gunsmoke.
Only reason I watched them because my mom watched them.
Well, I know my mother did too, my birth mom did too, but like when they have Native Americans on there, they always treat them like savages in these westerns.
Yeah.
And that's a false
But they had to,
portrayal.
didn't they?
No, that's a false. I'm part Native. That's false.
Government.
No, I'm talking about the
subverted
Western. I'm not
them.
talking about the government. I'm just talking about the Westerns, the way they portray them.
Yes,
All these
but I mean
Westerns.
real life. Weren't they trying to depict real life the way they treated Indians?
No, I just think that was Hollywood's interpretation, you
Oh.
know. And also, another reason why I don't care for Westerns, because just imagine if we lived in a society where everybody was carrying guns like they do in the Westerns.
We'd be killing each other.
We'd be killing so many people.
Oh yeah. Look,
You know
if
how
some
many
guy
people
was
would
just
be-
out here had shots at some
Yeah, I know,
car.
just today.
Just today. I mean, what happened to that guy? Did he go crazy?
I don't know.
I don't know.
We'll have to
Look-
watch the news tonight. I'm going to be home by 5 o'clock today. And yeah, there was a shooting right today here in Missoula.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah, because I get off the bus. Okay, I can't go this way. I can't go this way. Bus had to go around this way.
Yeah, I
Dropped
know,
us
I-
over.
and when I was
so I was
catching
finally
the
able
bus
to
to
get
get
around
here-
everybody to get to the studio.
Yeah, I had to scramble around to get here too,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So they rerouted the bus routes and everything. But see, getting back to Westerns, that's why I don't care for Westerns. The
carry
way they
guns.
treat people of color. Not just Native Americans, but African Americans, Asian Americans.
The way they treated each other too, because there
Yeah,
was
I
the
know.
South
They're
and
so
the North.
Yeah, they were
Remember,
so
they're just
lawless,
coming
and
off
the
a
way they
civil
treated
war.
women. Yeah, the way they treated women too.
Yeah.
You know, it's like keep them barefoot and pregnant mentality.
You know, it's like Jesse James.
Westerns.
Like Jesse James.
You know?
People think about him as this big gangster, bank robber and everything, and that was a bad guy. A lot of people don't realize all Jesse James was doing was his job. He was working for the South, and his job was to rob trains and banks and everything of the North.
Well,
And
see, that I don't know about, but I know that Jesse James is a real person, but I'm talking about the portrayal in the movies, those old Westerns, if you really watch them.
Yeah.
And I like Chuck Connors. I think he was a wonderful actor, and he played a straight character on The Rifleman, but even on that show, not his character, but when you go into the town of Norfolk and stuff like that on that series, anybody who was non-white was always portrayed very badly in those Westerns. I don't care if it's Wanted Dead or Alive with Steve McQueen or whatever. But it's hard, I guess it would be harder for you to realize it because you're not a person of color, as they call it. And I hate that term, by the way. Why can't we just all
I don't
be
know
just-
what it's like to be a black guy or Indian or anything.
Yeah, but in those
I know
Westerns, they
when I went down
always,
south and worked down
you
there,
know,
and I finally realized that black people hated white people. And I had no idea because my whole family was different colors. Well, my little brother, he was a black guy. And my older brother's an Indian. I'm a Swede. My other girl, my one sister, she's Irish, I think.
Yeah.
And the other one's German.
But see, like I said, I don't care what national or color person it is. That's the way it should be, like we were talking about, like the New Testament.
Well,
Love your brother, you know?
We just didn't have any concept of that. And I remember when I used to work down in the shipyards down in Pascagoula, Mississippi, this black guy used to come and visit me while I was working in the inner bottoms of the ships because I was a kid. I lied to get my job. I showed him my false ID. Not a problem. Go to work, right? I've been working since I was a teenager. Well, I'd be down in the inner bottoms, and there's these mazes and mazes and mazes of these little cubby holes about twice as big as this couch or a little bit bigger. I have to get in there and grind all the welds down to the bulkhead and do all this stuff because I could fit down there. And I would do my work. Well, this guy would come, he was so amazed, and I never understood why he was amazed until later on in life, after I learned that blacks hate whites. And we didn't have, because I'm from Montana, we didn't know that we hated each other.
Yeah, but see, that's like we were talking about at the beginning of the show. I think it's stupid to hate someone because they're not your
Well,
creed.
he was, the reason
You know,
I brought that up was because I finally realized why all these black people were always like hanging out with me and looking at me, is because I didn't have that natural prejudice phenomenon that is inbred in people that grow up around different races.
If I thought for one moment you were racist, you wouldn't even be on
in
this show,
neighborhoods.
you know?
Well, it's interesting, that all of a sudden you're going, wow, why do those people hate me? You don't understand it, and it's all of a sudden a big aberration in your life.
That's why I'm saying it's stupid to hate someone because they're different from you. I learned that lesson when we lived overseas. My parents used to go to these Monday night football games when they were watching these Chinese play, because we lived in that part of the world. And then after the football game was over, my father would be playing poker like in those Richard Gere movies,
Mhm.
and it'd be a whole room full of Asian people, just, and the only color they saw was green, your money.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was it. They
Yeah.
didn't care. My dad was the only African American in that whole smoky place where they used to play
Oh, your mom
cards.
was Indian?
No, but
Or
we
it
have
goes
Indian in
back
our
further?
family. It goes back a little further.
Oh.
I'm darker because I took after my father.
Well, you know.
But the point that I'm making is, when I was a little boy and I would watch my father playing poker with these Asian folks,
Uh-huh.
they didn't care what color you were. They were just having fun
Oh, yeah.
playing poker and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And this is when I was a little boy.
That's
And I used to watch that, and it just showed me, big deal what color.
that's the way poker is.
Yeah.
People that play
People don't
poker,
care,
they
yeah.
sit with all these different races and sexes.
Yeah, I
and all
grew
this,
up
all this,
witnessing
and they don't
that,
have any
you know?
problems. There's just like all
Yeah.
that stuff is just gone. It's
That's
not
it.
part of their
and
psyche
so
all of a
I
sudden.
had to be about 9, 8 years old, maybe at that time, and I'm
Uh-huh.
sitting there thinking, it's no big deal, what color. I don't care.
Yeah.
I could care less.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I look at it like this. If William Shatner, plays Captain Kirk, if he can make out with a green lady,
Yeah, green lady.
it shouldn't make any difference if you're dating someone that's different than you.
Well, here's the problem
That's
with
how I
that,
look at it.
Asaph, is the government is a big problem in that
Uh-huh.
respect.
Uh-huh.
It's like this. That back in the day,
Uh-huh.
they'd make laws
Right.
because they didn't like somebody. They didn't like Asians. So you know what they did? They made a law. You couldn't have a ponytail. You go to jail. They made a law. You couldn't carry water on sticks.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what the Asians did. They ran
I saw
the
that all the time
laundries
when
and
I
all this.
lived in
And the
Taiwan, yeah.
government is the people that commit these crimes against us Americans, and it's just wrong. They're just like they said the Indians couldn't wait on us white people anymore. You know who the best doctors are in this country? It ain't these crazies that are trying to make us sicker, like auto mechanics nowadays, because they can get our insurance money. It's the Native Americans. And the government said, you can't wait on whites anymore. Why is that? Because they were healing white people and the government was subverting the Indians. So the white people are going, well, the government's saying this, but here's what's going
Well,
on. Here's
like
reality.
we were talking
So they
about-
realize the government's a lie.
So like we were talking
More
about,
lies.
if people do what the New Testament says and just love your fellow man no matter what,
Well,
your
yeah.
nationality, then there wouldn't be so much fighting, I think, in the world, and all this division and all this negative stuff.
Yeah.
Now, getting back to this here, I don't know if you recognize what I was doing. I'll do it again. You recognize it?
Just speeded something up.
No, that was at the beginning. That was one of the James Brown tunes called Funky Soul.
Oh,
That's
James
the intro
Brown.
to Funky Soul. Yeah,
Oh.
I don't know if you remember James Brown
Oh
or
yeah,
not.
I remember
They
James
called him a
Brown.
guy. I saw him in concert too.
Oh, you did?
He was friends with my teacher, James.
Oh, he
Brown.
was?
Yeah.
Oh.
He was friends with my teacher.
Oh yeah.
Bumps Blackwell, I told you, was my teacher, the guy that
Yeah.
was Little Richard's manager.
Mhm.
So he knew James Brown,
Oh.
stuff like that. So, yeah, I caught the tail end of that era. I was like in my early 20s at that time.
Mhm.
I caught the tail end of it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
What years
that's
was that? James Brown was famous. What, the '60s or the '70s?
late 50s, early 60s.
Oh,
Late
50s and '60s,
50s
really?
and 60s, yeah.
Man,
In his heyday,
good old James Brown.
Yeah. My father listened to the music of James Brown when we lived overseas a lot.
I saw this deal on Red Fox. He was doing comedy, right? It was
Yeah.
on the internet. You can see this stuff now on the internet. And he was up there complaining. He's going, he sucked. He sucked. But he was great in that show. He was in that little sitcom. But on comedy, he really sucked. And he was up there complaining that nobody was buying his CDs or tapes or whatever, his records. However, they say
Something like that.
that he said that the people would have a party and then they'd play his record, at the party. But he was really upset in that clip that I saw him on stage. And
Well, history says the reason he started going dirty is because it was expected of him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was doing some pretty clean stuff, and it seemed like somehow he got that reputation of the expectation of him being
Oh,
raunchy.
that
So he
would
said,
be a
okay,
good
if they
set.
want me to be raunchy, I'm going to be raunchy.
Remember Red Fox and he had a son. He used to sell junk.
Yeah, that was called Sanford and Son, the name of the show. That was a fun comedy. That was one of
Oh,
the
it was
most popular
great.
African American comedies.
Now, one lady, man, she'd swing her purse, and she's
Yeah.
and Red Sanford, he'd be going,
Yeah.
you know,
But
Come on.
when he did his concert, when he did his
he'd
comedy,
go out here, and
when he did his
out
comedy
here,
concerts, they
and
weren't
she'd be
clean.
swinging her purse.
Yeah. They weren't clean
Oh,
like
those guys
Sanford
are so
and Son.
funny.
Yeah,
Oh man, you
so-
could get a side ache watching them when
Yeah.
they bring all their relatives and friends over to the house. Oh,
Yeah.
and they'd be going off. And these actors and actresses were so good and so old and so refined, and they just gave them the best, you know, lines and scripts, and they were probably, you know, ad-libbing a lot of it because they were so good. And that guy that played his son, he must have just cracked up every day, you know, just
Oh yeah.
just being able to live, you know, and be the straight man. He
I'm
was
trying
the
to
only
play,
straight
yeah.
guy on that show, I think. You know, I don't know
I
why.
think this is the theme song. Something like that.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a pretty clean comedy, but a lot of stuff that Red Fox did wasn't clean.
No,
And,
no. He's very dirty, I guess.
Because I used
for
to
the
play in
times.
Vegas. I used to play in Vegas when he was performing at the Vegas World. This is
Oh.
like 40 years ago at least at
Uh-huh.
the time.
Yeah.
And this one lady walked up to me one time, she and her husband, middle-aged couple.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're not gonna go see that Red Fox anymore. That man is nasty. Come on in,
Well.
Patty, and say hi. Catch the tail end of the show. So, and
We're
I said
talking
to
about Red
myself,
Fox.
and I said to myself, well, that lady is.
Talking about what?
Red
have a
Fox,
seat.
the
And,
comedian.
and you don't have to move that. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
just have a seat. Patty knows the routine. She used to host this show.
Oh yeah, I know the routine.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I was saying to myself, well, what did you expect, Sanford and Son? No, he was very raunchy
Uh-huh. Yeah.
as a comedian.
Yeah.
He used to play at the Vegas World, and I used to work on the Strip at the time when Red Fox was there.
Mhm.
This is
I did
years
3
ago.
hours of comedy on Fremont Street for
Yeah,
Chip.
I've been there.
Mhm.
So Patty, how you doing?
But have you seen
Oh,
it? They
I'm
got all the
5'3".
lights up now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I saw the Fremont experience that they changed. You know, you walk
Yeah.
down Fremont Street, you can look up the wall and see the computerized
Try not to take off my
images
focus
up
stuff for a
there.
minute.
Yeah, right. That's really beautiful.
So, Patty, you know Frank, don't you?
I don't know her.
All right,
No.
let's make it official. This is Patty.
Frankly, I don't
Reed.
know you.
Patty, this is Frank.
Let's be Frank.
And
Yeah.
Patty was the original co-hostess of this show.
Really?
Yeah.
5 years
That's too
ago.
cool.
Yeah,
I
That's
was-
been what?
Original
5 years ago?
Yeah,
I
just
was
started my
doing
fifth
it
year.
all the time.
Yes, Patty co-hosted this show for almost 2 years, if I recall.
Yes, and I sang too.
Yes, she did.
Quite
Oh,
a
that's
bit.
too cool. Did he play the piano for
Well,
you?
no,
to
she-
Oh
sing?
yeah,
Well, I did that, and then sometimes she would sing with her.
Acapella?
acapella. Yeah.
Oh wow! I sing
Yeah.
acapella.
How did your performance go last week?
It went good, and I'm going to check my likes pretty soon because between Ellen DeGeneres and
Yeah, she's
Kelly
trying to get on the Ellen
Clarkston,
show.
I'm up to about 50 million.
50
Well, I
million
hope you
hits?
make it.
Yeah,
Are you-
likes.
Is it on YouTube?
Yeah.
No, but I switched over that, so I've got like 13,000 on YouTube.
Oh man.
But she's on Facebook too. I think.
I'm on Facebook, yeah.
Oh cool.
So
well,
what
if
I'm
you
gonna.
do get on the Ellen show, you gotta let people know so we
Oh,
can
you
keep
Now,
guys
you
will
were
know.
on
It'll
Ellen.
be a big
Yeah,
tradition.
You were on Ellen because what? Your movie?
No,
No,
because
she's
of my
a-
singing, I do karaoke.
Yeah,
You're
she's
singing.
attempting to get on the Ellen show,
Oh,
so
really?
we're keeping
Yeah.
our fingers
Oh,
crossed
wow.
that that'll
And then
happen.
maybe that'll get me to Ireland.
Yeah, Ireland. There you go.
Yeah.
You got to go get drunk with the Irish, right?
Yeah.
That's my ancestors.
Well, here's your. I'll play your Irish tune.
Shouldn't be drinking.
I'll play this for you. We're
Well,
almost
it's
out
okay,
of
you
time.
know, it helps.
And then another thing I'm doing too is Friday I'm going to go film me handing out goodie bags and basically go up to people, hey, like the food bank and the librarian section, say, hey, did you get some love today?
Yeah.
You didn't get no love? Well, here's some love in a bag. Yeah. So
Where's the food bank?
it's right off of Russell Street,
Oh.
over by old Walt Becky's,
I don't know where that is.
across from West Side Lanes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
There's your Irish tune, "Coming Through the Rye."
Oh, okay. All right.
Anyway, yeah, just name it "Coming Through the Rye."
The one I usually do is the Josh Groban one and the Celtic one when they go, you have me stand on, let's see. You lift me up so I can stand on
Oh
mountains.
yeah. See, if I can remember.
You raise me up. And stand on mountains. You raise me up
I'm sorry.
so I can storm the sea.
Something like like that.
Well, you know what I just learned, I figured out from the Lord's Prayer, love, right? That's what Jesus taught us. What's it called?
That's what we were talking about, love.
Yeah.
Love.
Well,
Right.
the Birds came up with one
Because our
seasons.
Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, because he is his own name. Thy kingdom come, thy will no.
Well, they
our
got
Father
the-
who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy will be done on earth as it is in
They
heaven,
have
right?
a brand new song that's out called The Lord's Prayer.
Well, that thing is the will. See, a lot of people don't realize what that means. They think it's, we got to obey God. Well, okay, whatever.
Well, it
But
always
the thing
starts with
is,
the person first.
But the will of love happens. Love is so powerful that you know, the
That's what
will
created
of
the
God,
population was
which is love, the will of love creates all this.
Okay, we're almost out of time. We got about
Okay.
3 minutes left. You cut the tail end. Patty, do you recognize the set we're on?
Yes, Married with
Yeah,
Children.
we're on the set of Married with
Did
Children.
you know that Peggy Bundy is actually the sister of Steven Seagal?
That I didn't know.
Yeah,
Peggy Seagal, Steven Seagal?
Katie Seagal is
They're really
the
brother and
sister.
sister? in
Yeah,
law?
I
didn't
was
know
really
that.
shocked.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm taking my hat off and on.
And there
for the
was
show.
a religious
Just so you know.
verse that was taken out, and I think the Birds were the ones
Yeah.
that did it. And the song was "To everything turn,
Yeah, turn.
turn."
You know the words of that song? Let's see. Let's do it real quick. Let's see.
Turn, turn, turn. There is a season. Turn, turn, turn. And I can't remember the rest of the words. A beginning, a time to voice, a time to sign. La 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 la. I can't remember all the words.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, we're out of time,
Well-
so let me make a final acknowledgement. You know, we're literally out of time. That hour went by
Good.
very quickly.
Oh, it did.
Anyway, we're on the set of Married with Children. I am Asaph Adonai, your host, and we have Frank Van Dyken on my left, and then on my further left, our original co-hostess of Asaph Cafe, Patty Reed. And it's good to have you on, catching the tail end of this episode.
That
Yeah,
was good.
Frank and I did 2 tapings today because I needed
Yeah.
to catch up.
He needs to catch
Well,
up
yeah.
because he's working at the library.
Well, we can
Yeah,
always
and
give
all
him some
that.
catch up.
How do they get
Yeah.
a hold of you to give you all these jobs?
Well, my name circulates, so sometimes people will call them all.
Oh.
You can actually contact here a lot.
Oh, just
Or
call
This is the best
MCAT.
way.
They call MCAT too. and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, this
I
is
hear
a really
the
great way.
message, you know,
Oh.
so
Me too, if you want to catch me.
That's how I got the job at the library. I'm playing at the library Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays at the moment.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So
Yeah.
anyway, don't move, you guys, until I shut everything down. We are literally out of time, and this was fun. So until our next show, Maranatha.
Maranatha, everybody.
Yeah. And the theme.
Go get some love in your soul, because otherwise Valentine's Day is for nothing.
Oh yeah, we got Valentine's
Go
Day.
get some love. You gotta have
Hold on,
love.
Give
hold
girls-
that thought. We'll
Girls
talk about
love. God
Valentine's.
same God girls love.
Go get that
That's,
love.
that's how you know what God is. Look at just go to the department stores. Love all
Go
those
come
shirts.
on, get some love.